Okay, today we are coming to the fourth lesson of your supplementary. So in your text, the third one, already first and second is taken, and the third one, Ishwaran the storyteller, is deleted by the CBSE. So there is no need of studying the third one, that is Ishwaran the storyteller. So now we are coming directly to the fourth one. So first and second we had already studied. Third one is not there in your syllabus, and now we are studying the fourth one, that is the kingdom of fools. So in this story, we will come to know how a kingdom is being ruled by a fool. The king is fool. King as well as his ministers are fools. How they are ruling over that kingdom. Understood? Okay, now we go straight to the lesson. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the ministers were idiots. Idiots means the fools. Idiots means, yes, fools. So both the king as well as the ministers, they did not want to run things like other kings. So they decided to change night into day and day into night. Day into night and night into day. That means when others are having night, this kingdom is having day, and when others are having day, they are having night. That means whatever things, whatever works, what all things we are doing during daytime, that is when the sun is up, all those things are being changed and asked to do during the night. And what the people are doing, what the other people, other kingdom people are doing at night, these people are doing all those work. That means during the daytime when the sun is up, we are working in the fields, doing business, we are going to school office. Many things we are doing when the sun is up, that is the daytime. And those things are being stopped by the king of the fool's kingdom, and they are asked to do only those things at night. And night, after the work, when the moon is up, we all are sleeping. And this kingdom, that time people are going to the field, they are doing the cultivation, or they are going to the business, or whatever work they are engaged. Understood? So this is what they are doing, everything just the opposite of other kingdom is doing. Understood now? Got the idea? They ordered that everyone should be awake at night. That means when we are sleeping, when the others are sleeping, the people of this kingdom has to wake up. Till their fields, go to the fields and do their work and run their business, go to the shops and do all kind of business. Only after dark and go to bed as soon as the sun come up. So as soon as the rising of the sun, they have to stop all this work and go to bed. Anyone who disobeyed will be punished with death. So anybody is not obeying these rules, anybody is not following these rules, they were given severe punishment. That means put to death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. Because they are afraid of being put to death, they started obeying what the king had decided to do. The king and the ministers were delighted at the success of their project. So these foolish king and the ministers are thinking what they had done is very good. One day a guru and a disciple arrived in the city. Who is a disciple? The messenger of the guru. It was a beautiful city. So while they were coming, they understood the city is very beautiful. It was broad daylight, and during the daylight, that means during the daytime when the sun is up, there was no one about. So when during the daytime they had entered the city and they did not find any people there. Actually, when it is day, it is crowded. Everywhere we can see the people, isn't it? But on that particular kingdom, when they arrived, nobody was there. Everyone was asleep, not a mouse there. Even a mouse is not being seen anywhere. Understood? Everyone are sleeping. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. Even the cattle also, they are also sleeping. That means the domesticated animals, are following the same what the people are doing. The two strangers were amazed. Amazed means surprised by what they saw around them, and wandered around the town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about in nightly business. So the whole day, when they could not find anybody, they could not get a food or anything. Why? Because shops, everything is closed and not a single people can be seen anywhere. So the whole day they roamed about, and as soon as the sun started setting down, the noise and everything started in the kingdom. People started waking up and going for their business. The two men, so now you understood the difference between what the kingdom of the fools are doing when compared to the kingdom of the other one. The two men were hungry. Why they were hungry? Because the whole day they were having no food, because there was no shops or people. Now that the shops were open, so when the night started, shops opened, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dodo. So whatever they going to buy, everything is having a same rate, that is single dodo, one dodo. Everything is having the same rate. Whatever things, how many things they are buying, all the things are having only the same cost. That is one dodo. Understood? Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost a dodo. So whatever thing, a rice or banana or vegetables or fruits or whatever they are buying, they have to pay a single dodo. Understood? Here, can we buy for the same rate anything? No, different things are having different cost, isn't it? But they all are having the same cost. The Guru and the disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. So for 1 rupee, they could buy all the things. Understood? Everything cost only for 1 rupee. So they were delighted. Now understood? When they had cooked and eaten, the Guru realized that this was the kingdom of fools and it won't be a good idea for them to stay there. So first of all, they were hungry, so they made food and had eaten and finished their hunger. And now the king thought it is not good for them to stay in this kind of kingdom. Understood? In this kind of kingdom, they are not able to survive. Why? Because they had been in some other kingdom other than this, where the day is day and night is night. And their life was according to that. But in a country like this, when the day is considered as to be night and night is considered to be a day, they thought it is not possible for them to live. This is no place for us. Let us go, he said to his disciple. So what did he say to his disciple? His disciple follower. What did he say? Okay, this place is not suited for us. We will go from here. But the disciple did not want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good cheap food. So he was not, the follower was not willing to go with the Guru. Why? Because he thought for just to pay rupee 1, he will get all sort of food, isn't it? And he wanted only food all the time. So such a person did not like to leave that kingdom. The Guru said, they are all fools. This won't last very long and you can't tell what they will do to you next. That means this is the kingdom of fools. They don't have anything in their mind. They are murdered people, isn't it? So today they will say something, the next day or the next moment they will change it, isn't it? Because they don't think about what they are saying. So it is not good. If you stay here, tomorrow you cannot say what will happen to you. But the disciple would not listen to the Guru's wisdom, but he did not listen to his Guru. He wanted to stay. Why he wanted to stay? Because just to pay little money, he will get more food. And he need only food. The Guru finally gave up and said, do what you want, I am going under. But what did he do? He left the place, leaving the follower there. Disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day. So he was comfortable over there, happy living, isn't it? Because paying little, getting more food and enjoying himself. Bananas are ghee and rice and wheat and grew fat like a stage side sacred bull. You have seen bull in Balakala we used to say, isn't it? How is they getting food from every side and becoming fat and fat. The same happened to the follower also. Eating so much, forgetting how much to eat. Eating whatever he is getting and becoming fat and fat. So his body started grow like a bull. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. So understood the condition of the kingdom of the fools. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. Sneaked in means get inside. And as he was carrying out his loot, loot means the things what he had robbed, stolen things. So loot, loot means stolen things. All the things what he had robbed from that merchant's house. The wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. So he had entered the rich merchant's house and he had collected all the wealthy things, and when he was about to go, what happened? The wall of that building collapsed on his collapsed means fallen on his head, and he was killed on that spot. So who died? The thief died on that spot. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade," pursuing means continuing his ancient trade. What is his trade? Robbing. A wall fell on him and killed him. The merchant is to blame. He should have built a good strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for his injustice. So what did his brother went and say to the king? Okay, my brother was doing the trade what he was doing, and the wall had fallen on his head and he had died. So it is the house of the merchant, isn't it? So he did not build that wall properly or strongly, and as a result my brother had lost his life. So now one compensation has to be done, and that who has to be the merchant has to give money for the loss. This is what his brother, the thief's brother, went to the court and said. The king said, "Justice will be done, don't worry," and at once summoned the owner of the house. So the king, what did he say? He went, "Nowadays can we go and blame like this? The wall had fallen down and now you have to give me money. Can anybody go now today? Today what will happen? They will give us, instead of money, they will give eating and send us back, isn't it?" But what did the king do? He then ordered to bring the merchant, isn't it? Because the thief had gone into whose house? Merchant's house, and when coming down, what happened? The wall of that house had fallen on his head. So who is to blame? The merchant has to blame, isn't it? According to the thief's brother, who has to do the compensation? The merchant, isn't it? Because he did not build his wall strongly. So who was being called? The merchant was called. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, "What is your name?" "Such and such, your highness." "Were you at home when the dead man burnt your house?" When the dead man, that is the thief, when he had came to your house and robbed, where were you? Are you were in the house? "Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. So I was there in my home. He had entered my house, but the wall of my house was weak. It had fallen on his head." So actually, did the merchant do it? No, isn't it? It accidentally had happened, isn't it? But according to the king, it is whose responsibility? It is the merchant's responsibility. Understood? The accused pleads guilty. "You are man. You have all killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you." So what did he say? It is your responsibility that you have all had killed a man. So I have to give you punishment. Lord, said the helpless merchant, I did not put up the wall. It is really the fault of the man who built the wall. He did not build it right. You should punish him. So what did the merchant do? He said, I did not build I am not the responsible person to build the wall. Isn't it? First, the merchant. So he said, it is not my fault. I did not build the wall. The man who had built that wall did not build it strongly. So he has to be punished. Who is that? So now the king asking, who is that person who made that wall? My lord, the wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man now. He lives near the That means during my father's time it was being built. And that man is still alive. I know the man. The king sent out messengers to bring in the bricklayer who had built the wall. Who is that person? Bricklayer. Okay. So now the merchant, yes, he was excused. Why? He said he did not build the wall. It was the wall is built by the bricklayer. So now who is the accused? Bricklayer. So the messengers were sent and asked to bring him to the court. They brought him, tied hand and foot. They tied his hand and brought him to the court. You there, did you build this man's wall in the father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. So he asked him whether you had built that wall. Then the bricklayer said, yes, I have done during his father's time. So it was very old house. What kind of a wall is that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. You have murdered him. We have to punish you by that. So you had, because you did not build it strongly, what happened? That had fallen to a man and he was dead. So now you also has to be put to death. Before the king could order the execution. Execution means making him dead. The poor bricklayer pleaded. He also said, please listen to me before you give your orders. It is true I built this wall and it was no good. But that was because my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down the street all day with her anklets jingling. And I could not keep my eyes or mind on the wall I was building. You must get the dancing girl. I know where she lives. So what did the bricklayer say? He said while he was doing the work, a dancing girl was passing up and down the road and his attention had gone to her. He was attracted to that dancing girl and his mind was out of doing the work. So now who is responsible? The dancing girl. So what did he say, bricklayer? He said, I am not responsible because while I was doing the work, this girl was passing up and down and making the jingling sound of her anklets. And that made my mind change. So I was not concentrating on my work. So that is why it had happened. You can call whom? The dancing girl. She is responsible for my fault. Understood now? So three people started from the merchant. Merchant said it is not my responsibility. It is the responsibility of the bricklayer who had built the wall. And now he had said because of the dancing girl his mind was converted. You are right. The case depends. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let us get the dancer wherever she is. Okay, now the next order is there. Go and search whom? The dancing girl. The dancing girl, now an old one. So years had passed. Now that time she was a dancing girl. Now she had grown old. Came trembling to the court. She was fear. She was having that fear. She came to the court. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while the poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? So the king asked, have you been walking up and down when you were a young dancing girl? And she said, yes, I was doing. I remember it very well. So you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. Anklets means also. You were going young and you distracted him, so he built a bad wall. It had fallen on a poor beggar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You will have to be punished. So what did the king say? Because you were walking up and down, the bricklayer was not able to concentrate on his work, and he has done a big wall which had fallen on a man and put him to death. So now you are responsible to take the punishment. She thought for a minute and said, My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down to the house a dozen times. That was when the bricklayer saw me. It is not my fault, my lord, it is the damned goldsmith now. So who is the next person? Now goldsmith. So what did the dancing girl say? Now she is not the dancing young girl. She is a woman now and had many years and passed. Still she was remembering and she said that okay, there was a reason for that why I was moving up and down, because I had given to make some jewelry to the goldsmith, and every now and then he was giving excuses that it was not made. So I was walking many times to this goldsmith, and while I was walking, my jingling sound of the anklet had attracted who? The bricklayer, and he had done his work not properly. So the punishment has to be given to whom? To the goldsmith, because it was he who made me walk up and down for many times. Poor thing, she is absolutely right, thought the king, weighing the evidence. So when he understood that what the woman was saying is correct. We have got a real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at. So now he thought he is the responsible person for the death of that thief. Now go and search for him. The king's bailiffs means the messengers, searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. So all the messengers went in search of the goldsmith, and he was also brought to the court. That time he also was having an excuse. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It is true, I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I could not finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's order. They had a wedding coming and they won't wait. You know how impatient rich men are. So what did he say? What the woman is saying is correct. That means I was not able to give her jewelry at the correct time because the rich merchant had, who is the next one? The rich merchant. He had come to me asking to make some jewelries for the wedding. So I was doing that for him, and that this dancing girl's jewelry was pending. Who is the rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry? Made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of the wall, which had now fallen on the innocent man and killed him. So the goldsmith said that the dancing girl, then the bricklayer, they coming down also the same, isn't it? And finally he said, it is the rich merchant responsible for all this. And now he wanted to know who is the rich merchant. The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was the one other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. So who is this rich merchant? This is the same rich merchant. He was giving the order for making jewelry for the wedding. So when they found out who is that rich merchant, it was the first merchant who came to give who had a complaint. He is the first person who had a complaint. Now justice had come full circle. So one full circle had come over there, isn't it? That means from this merchant it had come to the same person. Now justice had come full circle toward the king back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I am innocent." So what did the rich merchant say? It is not me who had given the order. It is my father, his father. He had given the order for making the jewelry. So I am not responsible. But the king consulted his ministers. How is the ministers? They are also fools, isn't it? And ruled deceivingly. It is true, your father is a true murderer. So now who had killed? Accordingly to the story, who is the correct person who had killed? Because this rich merchant's father is the one who had built that house, isn't it? And it was during that time the wall what was made by the bricklayer was very big. Next in that house, who started living? Present rich merchant started living, and it was during that time it had fallen on the thief. It is true, your father is a true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in that place. So he said already your father is dead. So when your father is dead, who will be the responsible person? The son, isn't it? That is the rich merchant. You have inherited everything from the criminal father of yours, his riches as well as sins. That means when your father died, you had got everything, whatever belongs to your father was having, you have taken it. So now you are the responsible person in his absence. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of the horrible crime. You must die. So the king is saying, when you came for complaining, I understood that it is you the criminal. You have done the wrong. So now you understood, the story is coming back to the same person. As he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. Now it is the time to put him to the death, and for that a stake is to be made. Put in the head inside. Stake means, as the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final dwelling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. So now the stake is being prepared. Stake means that when it was being made, it was correctly made. Now they understood this rich merchant is very thin to put that his body inside that stake. That had made worry for the king also. What shall we do? He said. When suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to feed the stake. So somebody else has to be brought to that. That means according to the stake, it is little fat. So somebody of that size has to be brought. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for the man who would feed the stake. And their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for once on banana, rice, wheat and ghee. So they went in search of a person who will be suitable for this stake. And finally they came to whom? To the disciple who was living comfortably, eating all the time. That means paying little money, getting more. So bananas, rice, ghee and everything he was taking daily in high quantity, and as a result his body had become very big. So now he is fat enough to go through that stake. Understood? So the whole punishment is coming on whom? On that disciple, isn't it? When the Guru had asked him to come go along with him, and he had said that it is not good to be here. Tomorrow what is going to happen? Nobody knows, because it is a kingdom of fools. That time the follower disciple did not listen to him and he stayed there because he wanted to eat. Now the punishment is coming over him. What have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am a sannyasi, he said. What did he say? I did not do any wrong here. I am a sannyasi. Sannyasi, saint. That may be true, but it is royal decree that we should find a man fat enough to feed the state, they said. But they said that is true. What you are saying is true. But we want to find a man who is fat enough to go through that stake. He remembered his wise Guru's words. Now he is remembering what his Guru had said. This is the city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. So while going, the Guru had given him the advice saying that today we are like this, but tomorrow what is going to happen, nobody knows, because the kingdom is ruling by the set of fools. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his Guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. So the follower could not do anything, disciple could not do anything, because at that moment who was not there with him, Guru is not there. So now he thought of his Guru and he prayed for him to come and help him. The Guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic power. Because of his magical power, Guru understood what is going to happen to his disciple. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He was a very good sannyasi who is having the power to say about past, present and future. So he understood what is going to happen to his follower. He arrived at once to save his disciple who had got himself into such a scrap through love of food, because he was greedy to have food, so that had made him in this condition. As soon as he arrived, so now he understood something wrong is going to happen to his disciple, so he came to the kingdom. He scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. That whispering means in a soft voice. Then he went to the king and addressed him, O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru of the disciple. So he went and asked the king a question and asked him whether who is the greater, a Guru or a disciple. Of course the Guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask? Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me. So the king said Guru is greater. So what did the Guru say? Okay, now you put me first in the stake and then next my disciple. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor. My first, you brought me here first. Put me to death first, not him. So what did he say? No, not my Guru. Put me first. Because they both were having an idea, a plan in them. Guru had said a plan to whom? His follower, and follower was going according to the plan. So they both started fighting, saying that I will go first and next you will go first. The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. So they started fighting each other. That each one of them is saying that I will go first. The king was puzzled by their behavior. The king could not understand what they are doing. He asked the Guru, why do you want to die? We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake. So finally, the king could not understand why is the fight between the Guru and the disciple. So the king asked the Guru, why you wanted to go first? Because you are thin and we were searching for a fat man, and who was suitable for that? Disciple was suitable for that. You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to death first, replied the Guru. Guru said, there is nothing to say. You put me first. There is some mystery here. There is something hidden over there. As the wise man, you must make me understand. Said, there is some secret is there. You have to say that secret to me. Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you? Asked the Guru. Guru asked, if I say that the secret, will you put me first? The king gave him his solemn word, promised. The Guru took him aside out of servant's earshot and whispered to him, do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of the God of justice. It is new. It has never had a criminal on it. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this kingdom, and whoever goes next will be the future minister of his country. We are sick to our ascetic life. Ascetic life means sannyasi life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my Lord, and put us to death, my first member. So what is the story said by the Guru? That means who dies first will be the king of that kingdom, and who dies second will be the minister, isn't it? And said, now for a long time we had been sannyasi, and now we are fed up of our sannyas life, and now at least for once let us rule let us live like a king and a minister. Understood? The king was, that was the idea got in the mind of whom? Now Guru. The king was now thrown into deep thought. So the king started thinking. That means who dies first will be the king of that kingdom, and who dies second will be the minister, isn't it? Already now there is king and minister, but if they both die, and this king and the existing king and the minister will be thrown out. They will become the king of that country. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He did not want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. So he did not want to give the kingdom to anybody else. He needed time. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked a secret with his minister. So he wanted to continue as the king of the entire kingdom. So what did he do? He postponed the killing of those people and said, tomorrow we will execute. It is not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let us go on to the stake ourselves, and we will be reborn as king and minister again. Holy men do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. Holy men here refers to the Guru. He is a sannyasi. So the king is saying sannyasis will not say anything wrong. They will not say lies. So we have to accept that. It means I am not willing to give the kingdom to anybody. Again, I wanted to be the king over here and you the minister. So what? They did not want them to be put to death. So he told the executors, we will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. Then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders, don't make any mistakes. So he said to the executor. Executor is the person who is putting the criminals to death. So what did he say to them? Today night we will send those people to you. The first person who comes, you put him first, and the second person who comes, you put him second. And don't make a mistake. That night the king and the minister went secretly to the prison, released the Guru and disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with the loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. What did they do? In the night, they exchanged themselves. That means the king exchanged himself as Guru, and the minister exchanged himself as the disciple, and sent this original Guru and disciple outside. And they both secretly went to the prison. And already it is said the first person has to be put first and the second person has to be put second, isn't it? So nobody came to know, only the king and the minister as well as the Guru and the disciple. When the bodies were, so they were put to death. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to crows and vultures, the people panicked. Panicked means they were surprised. They saw before him the dead bodies of the king and the minister. City was in confusion. So the next morning, that night, they both were put to death. And the next morning, when the bodies were taken out to throw to the vultures, what did the people see? Dead bodies of whom? The king and the minister. And now they did not know what is the story behind it. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. So now the king and the minister gone. Nobody is there to rule over the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. We people need a king and a minister, said someone. Others agreed. They begged the Guru and the disciple to be the king and a minister. It did not take many arguments to pursue the disciple, but it took longer to pursue the Guru. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they would change all the old laws. From then on, night would again be night and day would again be day, and you could get nothing for a do. It became like any other place. So what did the Guru and the disciple do? So they, after seeing the dead bodies of the king and the disciple, they thought of leaving the place, isn't it? But the people now started because they don't have a king and the minister. Somebody has to be there to rule over the kingdom, isn't it? And then they thought, now who has to take the responsibility? Guru and the disciple. They thought it is good to make a guru and his disciple as the minister and the king. And they asked them to stay over there and rule over the kingdom. But a disciple was willing to continue, but the guru said no, he could not. And then somehow they managed, they asked him, no, they have to be, because without a king, the kingdom cannot survive. So what did the guru do? Guru accepted, saying that I will change all the prevailing or the standing rules of that kingdom. That means we have to follow what the other kingdoms are doing. That means day as day and night as a night. And they have to do according to that, isn't it? They could change all the old laws. Old laws means all these only. What are the old laws? Night is changed to be day and day is changed to be night. And whatever work, whatever things doing in the daytime, they have to do at night. And whatever things they do at night, they have to do at work. Said that I have to change all the. If you agree that I will change all that laws, I can continue here as a king. So finally, what will the people say? They need a king at the most, isn't it? So they agreed to the words of the guru and they said, okay, we accept you as the king and the minister. Understood? From then on, night would again be night and day would be day, and you might give nothing for it to do. And also for a single rupee, for a rupee, they used to get anything from rice up till the smaller one, isn't it? Bananas, rice, ghee, everything for a rupee. And stopped that also. That means you have to pay accordingly. Not for 1 rupee, you will not get anything, but you have to pay accordingly. Understood now? So the rules of that whole kingdom was changed. Now who is ruling over it? Yes, wise man, wise guru, and his minister is going to rule over the kingdom of fools. So from this you can say who have managed that foolish people? How did? Because whatever story he used to say to these people, they don't have the mind to think about it, the common sense. They don't have the common sense to understand or think about it, isn't it? What everybody is saying to them, they believe it. Otherwise, if they were clever in it, if they were good enough, if they are able to understand what the guru and the minister is saying, will they do this? They will not do, isn't it? So they are considered to be fools only. So in the kingdom of fools, the rule had come to an end, and it had come, the ruling power had come in the hands of whom? Guru and disciple. Understood? The question answers will be sent to you. I hope you understood the lesson. Okay, thanks.